Inevitably, we get asked, how do you deal with cold temperatures in an RV?
If you find this video helpful, please subscribe. That helps our channel grow so we can make more videos for you.
This past week in the US, we've had a winter storm bring in a cold front, and most of the country has been experiencing much colder than usual temperatures, snowfall, all that sort of thing. And here in Central Texas, we did get below freezing for about 3 nights. And we one morning woke up and it was 14 degrees with a wind chill of -1. And in Central Texas, that is highly unusual for us. We've had a few times before, since we've been living in Holly, that we have experienced extreme cold temperatures. A couple years ago, Texas had a deep freeze for about a week when we were all in freezing temperatures. I'm sure people heard it on the news. We had power grid problems, lots of people struggling with getting enough heat. A lot of deaths occurred, unfortunately, due to freezing temperatures, and water and power issues and all that sort of thing. Also, a few years ago, we went up to Idaho for 2 weeks for Christmas and New Year's, and visited family up there. And while we were there, we were in below freezing temperatures for 16 days. Whenever we've experienced cold weather conditions like this, inevitably we get asked, how do you deal with these cold temperatures in an RV? So one of the things that we do in our RV is, because we do not like to go fill our propane tanks over and over and over again, because we would have to pull up our camp, pull in our slides, drive to the propane filling station and get our onboard propane tank filled. We have opted to not use our propane utilities. So our cooktop and our furnace, we do not use. So instead, we purchased some infrared heaters. They're Duraflame infrared heaters that are decorative as well as useful. So they look like these cute little fireplaces. We have 2 of them, one in our bedroom area and then one out in the main area of the RV. And these are infrared heaters, which work a little bit differently than a space heater. They're supposed to be safer and more efficient. Infrared heaters work by putting out radiant heat versus just pushing hot air out into a room. So it's similar to the warmth that you feel from sunshine coming through a window, or body heat is similar as well. So it just kind of warms objects in the room rather than just putting hot air out. We have found them to work very effectively, and our electricity bills are not too outrageous in the wintertime, especially when we've had a big storm like this. We've been surprised at how efficient they are. So like I said, we have one in the bedroom, one in the living area, and because they draw so much power, we cannot plug both of those into our regular RV power outlets. So the one in the bedroom, we have plugged into a large gauge extension cord that goes directly out to the pedestal at our campground. So that power comes from there, and then the one in the front, we do have plugged into the RV outlets. Another thing that we do to keep our tanks from freezing, we have our black tank, which stores our bathroom waste. And we also have a fresh tank that holds fresh water, and we like to keep some on board just for occasions like this when the water service may be out. But to keep all of those tank areas from freezing, we keep a little space heater down below in the compartment that accesses our tank area. And when it is freezing outside, or we have below freezing temperatures, we turn on this space heater to cycle through periodically. And this is also plugged to an extension cord that goes directly to the pedestal out in the campground. So it does not draw power from the RV as well. It's also important to remember to keep the faucet at a trickle when it's going to be below freezing temperatures. So we're always sure to do that. Another thing we do that helps us stay nice and toasty warm in the wintertime is we have an electric mattress pad. This works very much like an electric blanket, only it is covering the mattress rather than covering us in the bed. It works very well. We can program several different temperature settings. It will run for about 10 hours at a time, so we will preheat those before we go to bed, and then we get to climb into a nice toasty warm bed. Another idea that's worked really well for us is this reflective window insulation. It looks a lot like bubble wrap, but it has mylar covering on both sides, so it helps insulate your windows in the winter to keep the heat in, and in the summertime it can reflect sun to keep the heat out. We bought a big roll of this at Lowe's and cut it to fit every single window in our RV, including the big windshield up front. And usually we have about half of our windows filled with this, usually on the side that does not get the morning sun. So we can get that morning sun coming in to heat it up in here. And then the afternoon sun in the summertime is reflected and keeps it cooler in here. When we were in Idaho for 16 days, we used every single one of them in all of the windows, and we really noticed a difference in the insulation level of the RV. One thing that I do want to say about RV living when it comes to big winter storms like this, especially the big one we had in Texas where people were out of power, is that I actually feel a lot safer in my RV. And the reason for that is we are very self-sufficient here. We have an onboard generator that's diesel powered, and we always keep plenty of diesel in our tank.
So that could provide us with quite a bit of power if used sparingly.
We also have fresh water on board that we keep full and cycle through occasionally so it stays fresh, and that water could be boiled or used however we need to, again if used sparingly. So we are very self-sufficient here in the RV and could function without connecting to public utilities for probably a week or two. So I do feel a lot more comfortable in situations like that than I would in a regular home that relies on public power and utilities.
Those are some things that we do. What works for you? Comment below and let us know. And again, if you like this video, please subscribe.